So we can talk about Oklahoma, but I'm going to save that to the end because I did that segment already. So, woosah, I got my pressure points out. But you know what? We probably going to get to it because, well, my God. I sent a tweet. It doesn't have any words to it, but it really underscores how I was feeling watching Oklahoma play. But it ain't got nothing like what Colorado has been feeling basically for the last 4 hours. One of the things that I found to be wildly interesting about this Colorado team is just how many people wanted to tell me that I was wrong about how I felt about Colorado, because I don't know if you remember this, but I've been right about Colorado since the moment that Deion took over Colorado. I was way out in front when people were undervaluing what that program was going to be capable of in 2023. And I was way out in front when people were overvaluing what that program is going to be capable of in 2024. Okay? It ain't about whether or not I like or don't like Colorado. It's not anything to do with it. It's about being right about Colorado when it's right to be right about Colorado, which is right now. Let's start with this. Everybody told me, and my phone was blowing up from folks at Colorado, by the way, that the defense was going to be better, that they had upgraded at multiple positions, that they hadn't done what I said they had done, which is just trade out the same guys for the same caliber of guy. They did not get better. RJ, the offensive line is totally overhauled. Is it? Is it? Because it didn't look that way against North Dakota State, and it damn sure didn't look that way against Nebraska tonight. First 5 series of the game, I watched Shedeur Sanders get down on his back because they sacked him 5 times in the first 5 series of the game. And what did I say that Nebraska needed to do to beat Colorado? Do you remember? Of course you remember. Hold on to the football. Don't throw the football to the other team. All that had to do with was Jeff Sims last year. If not for Jeff Sims, would Nebraska have been in that game last year? Absolutely they would have. You know what changed this year? Dylan Raiola could be trusted with the football. Full stop. That's it. It's not that Dylan Raiola is leagues ahead of Jeff Sims, though he seems to be. It isn't even that they upgraded at wide receiver, which they did with Isaiah Nair, and they got a dude in Barney who can absolutely roll. It isn't even that they can run the football, and they can like Swiss cheese, running through that defense like Swiss cheese, like a hot knife through butter. It's that Nebraska just did not give the football to Colorado. I'm looking at this, and it says 0 turnovers for Nebraska. You know how many it says for Colorado? 2, including a pick 6 from a man that I think will still get drafted in the first round, though it would be the bottom of the first round, and Shedeur Sanders, but also a man that people wanted to tell me I was wrong for how I thought about him at the NFL level. I think if you give him time, he can be great, but he had time when he threw that pick 6 to Tommy Hill. He just stared him down, threw it straight at him. Uncharacteristic mistake, but a mistake he still made. I'm talking about a Colorado program that gave up 6 sacks to Nebraska tonight. In addition to committing 9 penalties for 104 yards in the second half, it was almost like Nebraska just stopped playing because they had a bunch of penalties, had a bunch of stuff called back, 12 penalties for 105 yards, and they still beat Colorado like they stole something in Lincoln. Held Colorado to 4 of 14 on third down. People wanted to tell me over and over, hey, Robert Livingston is a better defensive coordinator than Charles Kelly. He might well be, but it didn't look that way tonight. Looked that way tonight like he kept trying to guess on what Dylan Raiola could put up with and not put up with, and it was little to nothing. Coach Prime talking about before the game, we're going to make it tough on him. We're going to make it hard for him to operate. Didn't look like it was hard for that man to operate at all. 23 of 30 for 185 and 1 TD. All he needed to do was run the offense. And because he ran the offense and Tony White's defense, that 3-3-5 that people were trying to malign, was keeping Colorado in check, you ain't got to do much else. And if you're a Nebraska fan, this is everything you asked for, baby. This is everything you asked for. I ranked you in the top 25 this week, and I was asked why. I saw what I need to see from them against UTEP. That's why. It's a good football team. They will not face a great football team until they get Ohio State, and that's 7 weeks into the season. They still got time to build. And as Matt Rule put it, look, we're playing together, and we're going to play better teams than the one we saw today. Shade. And I want Shiloh and Shedeur to be okay, but we're on to bigger and better things. Shade. I don't care that Matt Rule was trying to be magnanimous, even if it didn't sound all the way magnanimous. He could be pardoned for turning a knife on that one. I cared that Colorado could only score 10 points. 10 points. Couldn't trust the kicker. Alejandro Mata, the kind of dude getting dapped up by Coach Prime after making field goals last week. He couldn't even be trusted to make the 50-yarder. They sent Jay Feely in there to make a fool of himself. Kicking that thing far. No. Excuse me, Jay Feely's son. I'm looking at Dallin Hayden, and they still can't run the football. I had Colorado fans all up in the comments talking about, RJ, what you talking about? They can't run the football. You can't run the football. What are you looking at? What are we all looking at? Dallin Hayden had 5 carries, 32 yards. Get out of here, man. Shedeur threw the ball 38 times before being knocked out of the game. Completed 23 for 244. A man that went for 445 just last week. Okay? Well, Nebraska is an FBS team. You damn right it's an FBS team. They got more scholarship players than North Dakota State by rule. They also need to win football games in a way that Colorado does not. Colorado doesn't need to win football games to play on national television. We know this because they went 4-8 last year, and yet NBC made this their night game and put Colt McCoy's first game here, wanting people to think of Colt McCoy in some way the way that folks are thinking about Tom Brady at Fox. It ain't work. And all you could hear from Colt McCoy was, my goodness, Dylan Raiola is making all the mature decisions. He's getting rid of the football when he has to. He's not forcing the football where it doesn't need to go. He is really swift, but also controlled with what he wants to do with the ball. The offense looks like it's fine. Okay, Marcus Satterfield has put this thing in a true freshman's hand, and that true freshman went up against Prime, Shedeur, and Shiloh, and came out the winner. The Raiolas are reminding you that they are a football family and that his daddy's jersey is up there on the wall as a center. That his daddy, meanwhile, you got Coach Prime, who has charged Phil Lodeholt to the heart with Phil Lodeholt. This ain't squad for you, dog. This offensive line is not great. He put Phil Lodeholt in charge of protecting his child. That's the long and the short of it. The child is also his quarterback, okay? Dylan Raiola got his uncle in charge of protecting him. Who do you think did a better job? The guy that gave up 6 sacks, or his unit gave up 6 sacks, or the guy whose unit gave up 0? Okay? And I'm telling you, man, it's much easier to play football when you can run the damn ball. And that's what Nebraska was committed to doing. Ran the ball 35 times for 149 yards. 17 for 74 and 2 TDs for Dante Dowdle. That's going to get it done. That's going to get it done every time. All you got to do is score when you have the ball and stop them from scoring. It's a simple game sometimes. It really is. It's a simple game sometimes. Now that we have seen on national television once again what Colorado is and what they are not, they are 1-1, okay? Which means that they have lost. Follow me here. They have lost 10. Okay? Excuse me. Math. They have lost 9. They have won 5. Now, Colorado State, jump ball on that one, dog. I expect Colorado to show me the what for and the how now on that. But Fowler Nicolosi and Torrey Horton, those are some 2 dudes. Those are some dogs. I just don't know if you can trust them to hold on to the ball like you can trust Nebraska to hold on to the ball. I'm also looking at this and I'm going, all right, what was the difference between what Dylan Raiola was asked to do and what Shedeur was asked to do? More. Shedeur was asked to do more than Dylan Raiola was asked to do. And anytime you got to put the ball on 2 shoulders, it ain't always been great. If it's a close ball game and the defense seems to be holding up, you got a shot. But this was not a team that felt like the defense was going to hold up. And for the first time in a long time, I watched Travis Hunter be frustrated on the sideline. He hadn't been this frustrated since they they lost after being up 28-0 against Stanford last year. Now you have to figure this out. Now you have to ask, what else can you change at Colorado for it to get better? What else would you need to do at Colorado to not lose to Nebraska? What will you need to do at Colorado to not lose to Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Utah, all on your schedule? You get all of them. The Big 12 is not an easy win this year. Iowa State showed Iowa that today. Kansas State came back against Tulane today. When I said that Colorado was picked 12th out of 16 teams, 11th out of 16 teams, I got so much pushback from y'all, dog. Now what? You going to try to tell me that it's one game, or is it one game where you got embarrassed? Something's got to change, because you can only ride the wave of being entertaining and fun for so long before people expect you to start winning. That honeymoon period is coming to an end quick, fast, and in a hurry, especially when there are things that are getting done that are just outside of conventional wisdom, conventionally what we do, like banning reporters from asking questions, which I don't think is a bad policy in and of itself, but publicizing it the way they did, don't know if I would have done with that. Or calling out CBS for whatever reason. These are things that are left unsaid. You don't need to say this part out loud. If you need to talk about what is ailing you out in public, that's not a good look for you. There's no good that comes to that. People don't like being embarrassed in the way that Prime was embarrassing them, where it feels like you are asking a question is antagonizing Prime. You can't ask a good faith question. And at that point, you're just going to let that dude do his thing, and then you're going to quote him, which is, I think, what he wants. So one way or another, something got to change in Colorado, and I don't see Prime changing. The thing that I think folks need to separate, though, is that Colorado is Colorado. Deion Sanders is Deion Sanders. They are not the same. You cannot treat them the same. One man changed the balance of power in the NFL as a quarterback by going from the Niners to the Cowboys. One man played in the World Series and the Super Bowl. One man won the Thorpe Award as a walk-on at Florida State. Colorado ain't done a damn thing. Not a damn thing. Ain't done a damn thing. Okay? Your claim to fame is beating a Texas Christian team that was ranked number 17 on the road. After that, what has Colorado done? I can point to the number of students that are enrolled at Colorado going up, the number of prospective students that want to go to Colorado going up. I can point to the merchandise sales. I can point to the economic impact. But you know what is going to wane? Those things if you don't start winning ball games. At the end of the day, results matter. And getting beat by 18 by a Nebraska team that's in a plucky season is not a result that you can use to go win football games with. Build your offensive line, build your defensive line, recruit to your program, and then let's see about you. Let's take a look at the chat, see who's in here, see what we got going on, guys. Good to see all of y'all tonight. Good to see all of y'all tonight. Yeah, if you're looking for the Oklahoma bit, I promise it's on the channel. I did the segment. You can find it. I'm not okay. I'm not okay. I'm not okay. But I say my piece over there for about 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? I get it out. Woosah. Woosah. Meanwhile, Tennessee might be a damn problem. Tennessee might be a problem. I'm inclined to make Tennessee the third best team in the SEC right now, dog. What I saw from Tennessee tonight, what I saw from Tennessee last week, what I expect Tennessee to be, while Boise State is up 17-14 over Oregon. Yo. Nico Iamaleava has entered the Heisman conversation. He's entered it along with Cam Ward. I think that it's fair to put Kyle McCord in that conversation, as he's gone for 350 or more in back-to-back games and a ranked win against Georgia Tech. That's going to work for you. But as I'm looking at what Tennessee was able to accomplish tonight and what Josh Heupel was able to get out of his program, beating up on the Chattanooga Mocs is one thing. Putting up 69 on them is one thing. But what Tennessee did tonight to a top 25 North Carolina State team, I think we need to put into context. They scored 51, guys. Iamaleava has scored at least 2 TDs in every game he has started, and they are 3-0 with him as a starting quarterback. Did he throw 2 picks? Yeah. Did it take a while for the dam to break? Yeah. But at a neutral site, he threw for 211. Dylan Sampson rushed for 132 on 20, 2 TDs. Squirrel White went Squirrel White, 2 for 67 with a TD. But the thing about Tennessee that I think most people are just now getting awakened to is Tennessee has a defense. Realize that Tennessee allowed 3 points to the Mocs and then 10 to North Carolina State. Tim Banks got those boys balling. He and James Pierce, they're making it happen out there. They held North Carolina State to 143 total yards. 143. They held NC State to 39 rush yards. Could not do anything. And you know what? We don't have to talk about North Carolina State get back in the top 25 next week either. Not with a loss like this. This is bad. This real bad. But you know what? I didn't have North Carolina State in the top 25 because I didn't think they were that good in the first place. It's not even that they're that good in the first place. It's more like North Carolina State is guaranteed to win 7 games every year. As long as Dave Doran is the head coach. They're going to win 7 games. They're also never going to win more than 9. I don't know what that says about the Wolfpack, except that they're content. They are content to play in these games with a ranking and then get beat down. But you know what? This is also a team that was in a ball game with West Carolina last week. And if they didn't score 21 unanswered in the fourth quarter, maybe they put money in the bag like Notre Dame. Oh, my God. Oh, you want to talk about charging me up. Woo! Northern Illinois doing us all a service on that. But Tennessee is also in this spot where they're going to play Kent State. They're going to beat Kent State like a drum next week. And then they get an SEC competition. They got Oklahoma. They got to come to Oklahoma. Josh Heupel gets to come home. And I've been trying to tell people that don't nobody want to beat Oklahoma quite like Josh Heupel want to beat Oklahoma. For those of you that do not know, about a decade ago, Josh Heupel was offensive coordinator. Brent Venables was the defensive coordinator, co-defensive coordinator. Because Bob didn't think that Brent Venables still had it. So he went and made his brother, once again, the co-defensive coordinator, but his brother Mike was calling the plays. And that man, for the next 5 years, had me reaching for my Pez dispenser where my aspirin is at because the defense was garbage. It was trash. It was awful. And then I had to watch Brent Venables go win 2 national championships at Clemson and one over Oklahoma's dead body. Didn't feel good. Didn't feel great. On the other side of the ball, Josh Heupel had always felt like the guy that was best positioned to succeed Bob Stoops as head coach. Why? He is the last quarterback Oklahoma's had to win a national championship. That's one. We ain't won no national championship 25 damn years. That's one. He did his duty. You know, he goes to coach tight ends for Mike Stoops, works his way back to Oklahoma, becomes the offensive coordinator at OU. And then it kind of goes sideways. It goes sideways because he's got to make it work with Trevor Knight, who's a name that only Oklahoma fans would know, Kendall Thompson, Casey's big brother, and Blake Bell. Kansas City Chiefs fans know him as a tight end. That's what he had to work with. A dude that would play tight end in the NFL, playing quarterback was the best option at the time, and then you got to go to Trevor Knight. But Josh Heupel made that work, and he made it work as Bob was asking him to change his offense to the zone read stuff. Josh was like, I don't run that sort of stuff, but that's what we got in Trevor Knight. That's what we got to make work. So with Trevor Knight and Brennan Clay, a sidebar to a sidebar, Brennan Clay, spray tan. Go ahead and look that up. Gold. Gold, I tell you. Gold. So he made that work with Trevor Knight and Brennan Clay. We get to the Sugar Bowl, play against Alabama after getting embarrassed by A&M in 2012 in the Cotton Bowl and Johnny Manziel. And you know what happens? We beat Nick Saban and Alabama in the Sugar Bowl with Trevor Knight throwing for 3 bills. Just having a night. Having an absolute night. Josh Heupel went in Nick Saban's neck and got him. And then the wheels came off. We was trash in 2014. I got fired in 2014 covering OU for a rival site because there weren't enough subscriptions to sustain my job. They hired somebody else some 3 months later. And I go out into the wilderness like Oklahoma goes out into the wilderness. At the time I'm married, my ex-wife is in law school. One of the rules is you don't split up the family if you want that person to graduate law school. So I became an armed private investigator. I am still an ASCM and NASM personal trainer. I have a CSCS. I was a bondsman. I was a process server. What else did I do? ASE in brakes and suspension. I'm an NRA basic pistol instructor. Through all of that, I'm also watching Josh Heupel get bounced for this dude named Lincoln Riley because the offense wasn't getting it done. And what does Lincoln Riley do as soon as he gets to Oklahoma? He turns the offense into a juggernaut. Immediately. He took Thunder and Lightning and Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine and made them dance, baby. Made them dance like Zeus. He took the 6-0 Savage and turned him into a Heisman Trophy winner. I'm telling y'all, Davis Warren is who Michigan wanted Baker Mayfield to be, but the problem is there's only one Baker Mayfield. There's only one dude that can walk on at Tech and Oklahoma and still win the Heisman Trophy and be a number 1 overall pick. Lincoln was making those. Lincoln had a Heisman finalist at wide receiver and at quarterback. D.D. Westbrook, anybody? All while Josh Heupel was sent off into the woods. Josh Heupel sent off into the wilderness. They threw that man down in Hades. He crossed the river Styx. He went through the wilderness. He got to Asphodel. He went to Hades. He went to Missouri. Same difference, you ask me. Then he went to Central Florida, took over a program that had already won and said, I can win with you guys. Tell me how you do this. We're going to go do this. Made Central Florida work. Danny White gets the job at Tennessee. Danny White knows what I know. If you're an athletic director and you got a head coach that can go win, you bring his ass with you. And what'd he do? He brought him to Tennessee. And what does Tennessee do after the days of Butch Jones? My God. Jeremy Pruitt putting cash in McDonald's bags. And he turns Tennessee into a winner. They get their first win against Alabama since the iPhone generation. And now they feel once again like an SEC contender. And Josh Heupel gets to come home for the first time in anger and go at Oklahoma's neck with Bob Stoops in the press box. I'm telling y'all, as a man who lives for the revenge story, as a man who lives the John Wick way of life, I want this for Josh Heupel. I don't want it for Oklahoma. I want Oklahoma to win. I do. But for Josh Heupel to get what I think Josh Heupel is owed for what he has been through, if that got to come through Oklahoma, it got to come through Oklahoma. All I ask, if you're going to come through Oklahoma, you go undefeated. You know what I'm saying? That's it. You don't stop at Oklahoma. Don't beat Oklahoma and then be trash. Okay? I'm not going to be okay with that, Josh. That's not going to be all right. But I am going to tell y'all, when I tell you, I understand where the man got to be coming from. Josh is a much more mild-mannered person than me. Josh was also one of the first people as a coordinator to answer my questions in earnest. Like, we used to go in this thing called the Red Room, where, as my former boss would put it, you got to eat. You go in that room trying to get quotes that can help you eat. And Josh would explain to me what he was doing. He would explain to me how the offense was supposed to work in fine detail. He would treat me like I know football. I always hold on to the coaches that are personable with me, that go out of their ways to be kind to me, because it's not easy to be kind to me, especially when I'm in a reporting capacity. Sam Pittman is kind to me. Josh Heupel is kind to me. Brent Venables is kind to me. I can keep going down the list on this, and you get to know real quick why I will run behind some men. People will show you who they are when they have no good reason to treat you well, and yet they do. When people could take advantage of you and you don't, you hold on to those people. And they don't. You hold on to them. You follow them. You know what the measure of their man is. You know what the measure of their character is. And in this world at this time, when it becomes harder and harder to find authenticity, when it becomes harder and harder to find somebody who stands on what they believe and will tell you what they stand for and not be afraid of how you might feel about that, but also won't use it to beat you over the skull, you hold on to that person. Whatever's coming for Josh Heupel or coming to Josh Heupel, he deserves 100%. And he's got a quarterback in Nico Iamaleava who can get it done. Also, I'm taking the coaching, right? Iamaleava. Somebody tell Booger it's okay to pronounce that boy's name and get it wrong. It is okay. It doesn't make you less of a man. It doesn't make you less of a broadcaster. We're going to make mistakes. But you know what? I'm in here practicing. And y'all be calling me out. Tennessee fans, they are in here giving me phonetics. You know what I'm saying? Ui ungalale. Took me a while, but I got it. Iamaleava. Took me a while, but I'm there. Okay? I'm there. Meanwhile, we got to talk about Bama. What in the hell is going on down there? Like, looking at that going, on Nick Saban's name day, y'all decided to have, once again, a ball game with South Florida. It's one thing to have a ball game with South Florida and Tampa, not in Tuscaloosa. That's not. And on the day you're naming it Nick Saban Field, hell, it's 14-13 for far too long. Far too long. And I'm thinking, Nick Saban is going to say this team can't play on his field the rest of the year. He getting ready to say, y'all got to play in the parking lot from here on out. You're not good enough to play on my field. I'm looking at that going, what are you doing? Why are you getting run on like this? Why does Alex Goulesh feel like he knows something about Alabama that Alabama don't know about itself? I'm telling y'all, the way that Alabama looked today and the way that Tennessee looked today, I'm inclined to pick Tennessee. That's just what it is. And if Wisconsin knows what's good for them, they're going to watch every bit of the South Florida tape, and they're going to try to give it to them on Big Noon on Saturday. I'm trying to tell y'all, Bama need to figure it out. Like, people are asking me, why did I have Ole Miss ranked above Bama in my last top 25? You're seeing it now. Why? Right there. You're seeing it now. This is why. Now, again, Ole Miss, like Missouri, ain't played nobody outside the 5A high school classification. So Ole Miss feels like 2023 Michigan, 2022 Michigan, 2021 Michigan, but they don't have Connor Stallions on the sideline. So, can't all be that good. It might be that Ole Miss might have that. I don't think they do, though. I tell you this, though. You're beating Middle Tennessee 52-6, and you stopping a mud hole in Furman and walking it dry. You're not giving me any reason to doubt you. Not really. Meanwhile, while Alabama is playing with its food, otherwise known as the South Florida Bulls, Missouri ain't surrendered a damn point this year. The next point Missouri surrenders will be the first point it surrendered all year. Now, once again, they ain't played nobody outside of Oklahoma's 8-man classification. But, zeros is zeros. You beat up on Murray State. Hooray. You beat up on Buffalo. Was it the Bills? No. Hooray. Missouri ain't got to play nobody till next week. Boston College might actually give them a game, and we only know that because Boston College beat Florida State like they stole something at Doak Campbell. I'm excited about that game. I think Missouri does not necessarily match up against a Boston College team that's going to run the football and sit on you. They're not going to give Eli Drinkwitz's offense a whole lot of opportunities to go score, and Corey Batoon's going to have to earn his paycheck next week against the BC Eagles. The Jesuits got a little something for them folks in Missouri. I'm here to tell you, I'm excited about that game. That is a low-key, great game. I don't believe in trap games anymore because everything's on TV. A trap game used to be a team you don't see much of, a team that plays an offense that nobody else runs, like, Air Force or Navy, when they run those triple options, those flex bones. Those were trap games. We ain't got trap games anymore. Everybody's on television. We all see each other coming. Bama should have seen South Florida coming. Bama should have known since last year that South Florida could do this to them. They should have known this. This is known. Instead, I got to watch Bama sweat this one out. I got to watch you not know how to handle the ball, putting the ball on the floor, being undisciplined is all hell. I mean, it wasn't so much that South Florida was doing a great job of beating Alabama, so much as it was Alabama was doing a great job of beating Alabama. It ended up 42-16. I see that. But it didn't feel that way. Not till late. Not until late. I'm looking at Jalen Milroe with 15 of 25, 2 TDs, and 184. Difference is he didn't throw no picks in this game. I'm looking at, my goodness, Byron Brown rushing for more yards than he threw for. Quarterback. 99 rush yards, 95 passing yards. Penalties for Alabama. Check this out. 12 for 111. 3 turnovers, 3 sacks. Only nice thing they could do was rush the ball at the end. 5 of 13 on third down. Does not sound like a good football team to me. Sounds like a football team that is getting the Nick Saban bounce, and I'm trying to tell y'all Nick Saban don't coach there no more. RG, they're 2-0. So is Oklahoma. How you think Oklahoma feels about being 2-0 right now? About the same way Alabama feels about being 2-0 right now, if I'm going to tell you the truth. Shame the devil. Got church tomorrow. You better get right tonight. Don't go into service with that lie in your heart. You know who's good and who's not. We ain't got to lie about it. It's all right. Get better. Survive. That was what today was about for so many. Did you survive? Oklahoma survived, and it gets to advance. You know what I'm saying? Alabama survived, and it gets to advance. Just be sound about that. Iowa State showing up today. You know, they survived. They're 2-0. They get to advance. Big 12 is shaping up to be a really fun league this year. Oklahoma State's good. Kansas State's good. Arizona's good. Iowa State's good. Utah's good. Although Utah going to have to tell me what's going on with Cam Rising, because Utah without Cam Rising is not no Big 12 champion. That's just not going to happen. That man is more important to Utah than any other player is as important anywhere else. If he's playing for them, they can win. They can do anything. They can do anything. If he ain't, it's a problem. And you can see they were up 23-0 against Baylor because Cam Rising was being Cam Rising. Kind of want to take a look at some things we learned, some things we learned from week 2. And I want to take a look at a brief advance of my top 25, which will be out on Fox Sports tomorrow, later tonight if you're on the West Coast, around about 1, 2 a.m. in the morning, somewhere in there, West Coast time. Actually, it might be Central time. It depends on whether or not Oregon wants to get on with this or not. First thing I said earlier, Tennessee is a problem. Tennessee is a problem. They scored 69 on Chattanooga. They scored 51 on NC State. They scored 37 in the first 3 quarters against NC State. And they held NC State to nothing, not a zip for most of the game. Like, it did not ever feel like NC State had any sort of rhythm. Tim Banks has that defense rolling with James Pierce. He's probably going to be one of the first 10 guys off the board next year. We learned that Tennessee is going to be a problem that we did not expect to see in the SEC. It's Georgia, it's Texas, it's Tennessee, it's Ole Miss, it's Missouri, it's Alabama, it's Oklahoma, you know. We also learned that if you do not hit on your quarterbacks, you have a problem in the early season. Clemson did not hit on its quarterback. Cade Klubnik against good football teams, not great. Not great. Now, they beat the hell out of the Mountaineers, took the whole can of whoop ass and poured it all over on Appalachian State tonight. But you get my point here. Against good football teams, great football teams, teams that you got to beat to win national championships, they missed on the quarterback. FSU, they missed on the quarterback. And because they missed on the quarterback, they lose to Georgia Tech and to BC. Michigan missed on Alex Orji, so they were forced to run a former walk-on in Davis Warren. So today they lost to Texas, and it was not as close as the scoreboard would tell you. That's their first loss at the Big House in 4 years. Syracuse hit on Kyle McCord. Out the gate, Fran Brown is 2-0, undefeated. Win record of 100% because he hit on his quarterback. 350 plus against Ohio, 381 against a top 25 Georgia Tech team today. 4 TDs. You needed to hit on your quarterbacks if you were this year better than more than most if you wanted to play for championships. Third thing we learned, Michigan is much worse than we thought. Much worse than we thought. The Wolverines in the Big Ten feel like Florida State in the ACC. Hear what I'm saying? Teams that started out in the top 10 that might not make the top 25 come tomorrow. We'll see what I got to think about Michigan. But right now, I got him in. I had him at 14 going into this, and I got Michigan fans going, RJ, why the disrespect? It ain't disrespect. That's who you are. Or at least that's who you were before you got beat like a drum by Texas. Got Ann Arbor got annexed by Texas. Came up above the Mason-Dixon line, showed you what real football looked like down here. So I'm trying to tell y'all. Donovan Edwards ain't no Mike Hart. Davis Warren ain't no Baker Mayfield. They don't have an offensive identity at Michigan, and that's worrisome. You don't know if you can run the ball well or throw the ball well. And they're likely playing for their postseason hopes in week 4 against SC. They lose that game, kiss it goodbye. They're not making the college football playoff after winning the national championship just last year. Fourth thing we learned, people really, really hate Michigan for cheating. Really, really hate. Because if you come into this show and you look at the comments, every other comment about Michigan is, it's really hard to win games if you don't know the plays, don't you? Now, I'm going to walk this out. For them, perhaps, yeah, perhaps. I still think that Texas is a better football team than Michigan, knowing the plays or not. I genuinely believe that. I told Texas fans to do this. I hope somebody did this. If you were a Texas fan, you went to the Big House today, you should have taken a photo of Bill Engvall, put it on a flyer, handing it out to Michigan fans going, here's your sign. Because I would give them the playbook and I would give them the play calls. You still wouldn't have been able to do nothing with that Texas team because you're not that good. What's the meme go? You're not that guy, man. You're not that guy. You're not that guy. You're not that guy this year, Michigan. You're not that guy. Still time in the season. But the sheer number of people who will just pop up to continue to say how much they don't like Michigan, not because they're Michigan, but because of what they did last year, and that Connor Stallions is not sad about it. Michigan fans are not sad about it. They want acts of contrition from you, and you're just not going to get that from Michigan, man. Not about this. They not. They on some beach sipping a pina colada while they got beat down 31-12 going 2023 national champs right here. We'll still see what the NCAA manages to get done about this after they've served their notice to allegations. Can't wait to find out what's in that thing, but it's going to be some time. Last thing we learned, week 2. The 2024 freshmen, they are bad. They are, I mean in a good way. Them boys can play. Them boys is nice. This true freshman class is money. DJ Lagway went 18 of 26 for 456 and 3 tutties against Sanford today. Billy Napier committing malpractice by going, we're going to stay the course with Graham Mertz and DJ Lagway. Sounds like he's going to try to make Graham Mertz QB1 next week. And I'm going, why? For what? For who? Why? You need to win. You need to win right now. You have the toughest schedule in America. You can't afford to waste 1 year of DJ Lagway. You need him to go. I can't imagine having my true freshman quarterback go for 18 for 26 against Texas 5A national state champs, 456, 3 tutties, and not start him the next week. I can't. Make me understand. I don't get it. Jeremiah Smith caught 6 passes for 109 yards with a TD after catching 6 for 92 with 2 TDs last week. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. That man, as one Buckeye fan close to my heart put it, that's the white Power Rangers showing up. That's Tommy showing up with the Power Rangers. And I said, it works, Doc. I've used that. That's the best way I've heard Jeremiah J.J. Smith put all year. That man is the white Power Ranger showing up. You know what I'm saying? You get to add the white Power Ranger to the Megazord. Get out of here, dog. The only man mad about that is Tommy. He the only one mad about that. That's so good. That's so good. That's Tommy right there. Yeah, it is. Four is him. And you know what? Ohio State did what I expected him to do against a Western Michigan team that damn near had Wisconsin dead to rights last week in Wisconsin. Ohio State is showing you what the gap is between them and what is a projected midfield team in the Big Ten by the way they were able to beat down Western Michigan. They heard me talking about him with Akron. They said, all right, RJ, we going to get it right. And you know what? Full credit to Ohio State fans on this one. Ohio State fans saw me drop Ohio State from 1 to 2 and said, no, that's right. We can't trail to Akron. No, you're right. We got some things to figure out. We're not as good as we need to be. Ohio State fans got one mode, dog. They got super one mode energy. Super one mode energy. Their energy is, did we beat Michigan? Did we win the national championship? They don't even talk to me about Big Ten championships. They don't talk to me about that. They don't talk to me about beating anybody else but Michigan and whoever's in the national championship game. Their energy is 100% the same. I love that. I love that so much. You know what the standard is as a fan. You're not making excuses for piss poor play, and you're not making excuses for anything less than perfection. You are Herman Boone about this. You are Gary Gaines about this. I love that. I love that. We will be perfect in every aspect of the game. You drop the pass, you run a mile. You miss a blocking assignment, you run a mile. You fumble the football, and I will break my foot off in your John Brown hind parts. And then you will run a mile. Perfection. Gary Gaines, can you be perfect? Can you be perfect? Can you touch that? Can you touch that? 2014 Ohio State looking at this team going, y'all better get it done. Y'all ain't got no gold pants. Y'all ain't got no titles of any kind. Emeka Ibuka is back for one reason. Denzel Burke is back for one reason. Jack Sawyer is back for one reason. And that reason, November 30th, January 20th, And Ohio State fans know it. Love that. Love that. Love that. Ryan Wingo showing out. That is a dude that might be the third best wide receiver in this class, according to me. And he rushed for 55 yards against Michigan on one damn play. If the boy was a little bit faster, he'd have made the end zone. They tell me he got 10.5 speed. I'm like, why you getting run down by Will Johnson then? Take it all the way in, dog. Take it all the way in, true freshman. Wingo going to be all right. Going to be the best Wingo I've seen since Trey. And then Ryan Williams, my God. The only Mr. Two-time, Mr. Alabama football. Julio did it one time. One time. TJ Yeldon did it one time. Trent Richardson, look, I can keep going down the line. But Ryan Williams had 2 catches for 139 last week. This week, he was the backbreaker against South Florida. When it could not seem to get out of this 14-13 purgatory, Ryan Williams took the lid off. Had 4 catches, 64 yards, and that TD against South Florida. The true freshmen in this class, they are holding up their end, guys. Holding up their end. I love that. I love that so much. Last thing I want to leave you with is, yeah, we're going to do the top 25, and I don't think that I expected as much moving and shaking as we have seen so far in this week 2 ahead of week 3. But my top 3 stay the same. Georgia, Ohio State, Texas. Ole Miss, again, they ain't played nobody outside the 5A high school classification yet, but, it's basically a placeholder. Bama, we'll see what USC does against Utah State because I might have to move them around. But Penn State tried to lose to Bowling Green, managed to win by 7. Oregon, last time I checked the score, they was up what? Damn, Boise State's up 20-14. Boise State up 20-14, Oregon. Didn't you tell me Idaho was a one-off? Son. Damn, Arizona leading Northern Arizona 13-10 in the third. What are we doing today, guys? Hey, did y'all know we were playing college football today? Did y'all know? Oh my God. So for now, I got Oregon at 9. Tennessee, I moved them up to 10. That's easy. That's easy right now. They might move up further. We'll see. This is placeholder. Like, you'll know for sure when you go check foxsports.com in the morning, but I'm working it out. This is working it out, man. Miami, that's a top 15 program. That's easy for me. Utah, placeholder for Cam Rising, right? Michigan, I got to figure out Michigan. I got to figure out Oklahoma State. They're going to be a top 25 team, and I don't know where. Oklahoma. LSU. All right, cool. Back on the Bigfoot. Y'all still ain't beat nobody in FBS yet. No. 134 teams in FBS. LSU ain't beat one yet. Kansas State, show me a little bit of heart with Sunshine at quarterback. Avery Johnson, I like it. And I think we're going to have some new teams making it into the top 25, man. Nebraska, you get to stay. You get to stay. You get to stay, Nebraska. You made me look good. See that? 2-0. Big win against Colorado earlier today. Is Notre Dame a top 25 team? These are things I need to work out. It's not a top 25 team. Notre Dame. No, Notre Dame. More like Notre goddamn. Like, Notre Dame. This is the second time in 3 years y'all have paid out more than $1 million to get beat at home, dog. Marshall for Marcus Freeman's home opener, first game ever at Notre Dame. Put money in the bag. And then today, Thomas Hammock. Have you put the money in the bag? All right. We'll be back. We'll check this out. I promise to do a segment if Boise State pulls off this upset. If not, I'm just going to be looking at Oregon once again going, deuces.